Hey fellow golfers, I hope that for those of you who have just come out of partial lockdown like we have here in the UK, at least as far as golf courses being open and golf ranges being open is concerned, that you have had a good return to golf, that your lockdown period was spent wisely practicing indoor drills, many of which Ollie's Golf Studio has covered, and you can look at the top 10 playlist for those, but also that you did proper warm-ups, fitness exercises, stretches, and maintained good nutrition. Don't forget no caffeine just before you go on the course. Drink plenty of water. I've done some important clips on stretches and warm-ups, top 10s, as well as top 10 tips on nutrition that you should take a look at. It was fun for me to get back. You've probably seen the recent clip of that I just did on Phil Mickelson's lob wedge, and I thought, looking back at the various pro comparisons I've done, I'll put some links to those up above. That one person I haven't done is the one and only Tiger Woods, an amazing golfer who really changed a lot of the face of the game in recent decades, dominated for at least 2 decades. I wish him full speedy recovery from his recent accident, and hopefully he's having some quality time with his family. As I've been saying this, you'll have seen a little clip go by of Tiger Woods and his swing. He's had to change it a number of times because of various injuries, particularly his back surgeries, and so in comparison to his older swing, which was much more aggressive, much greater downward and hip turns, he is now playing much straighter. Now, he hasn't got any slower. He's still one of the fastest swing speeds on tour, so he's clearly doing something right, and he's much more in sync with his swing than perhaps in his younger days, even though, of course, he also dominated during his younger days. You'll see that quickly as we go into his swing a little bit, and the last 2 comparisons I'll put side by side, his slightly older swing with the newer one, and you'll see how particularly that downward and through extension and finish compare with the older swing. At setup, nothing much has changed. He still has a very good posture. He's just a little bit more upright, and his arms perhaps even more straighter than before. So a good setup. Move straight on to his takeaway. His takeaway now is much wider and much more deliberate, slower on the initial takeaway. Moving his arms, doesn't start the wrist cock for some time. Then at 3/4 you'll see his wrist cock has worked. He's still much more upright. He's standing pretty tall for his swing. He has that straight arm maintained like so many of the top golfers, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka. Have a look at the clips that I've done on them recently. The top of his backswing is now not fully parallel as it used to be. In fact, it used to be a bit more than parallel. It used to go back much further. He's maintained that upright backswing, but he's still got a big body turn, so that gives him the power. So it shows that you don't need to have the full rounded swing to have power. That back leg, his right leg, is acting as that pivot. His body turn with the upright swing is giving him that readiness for power to come back down. On the way down, you'll also see that his back arm is inside his front arm. You will have seen in some of the tips and drills that I have shown you on shallowing your swing, that is key to having the correct swing path and shallowing your swing and being able to do a nice draw as well. So you can see he's set up. You can see he's set up very well for that. And again, he's much more in sync. He's kept his body shape the same as when he started. What's very important when you look at that and compare to his previous downswing, in previous times he used to bend and crouch much more to get much more of that whip, and then very fast extension up. Now he's more gentle through that. He's still got the swing speed without rushing and pushing it, and without that extra crouching. It's a sort of nice, straight, more together in sync coming through, and then letting your hands and body move together. You will also see that as he reaches impact, he is keeping his eyes straight down at the ball. And then he lets that follow through go. You will see his back foot has been lifted, and it was beginning to be lifted as he hit impact. At impact point, his back foot was beginning to lift. You'll see now on extension it's much further lifted, and he then follows through much more upright in the semi-finish position, and then even in the finish position is much more upright. I put side by side the old and new swing of those last two positions, so you see how before it was much more of a turn. Obviously his back is not letting him do that, and yet he's one of the best golfers ever on his irons. His accuracy with his irons is just incredible. Incidentally, Ben Hogan used to have the same sort of swing as he did, meaning that fast, crouching, fast impact and takeaway through. He also had injuries and had to straighten up as well. So something to learn there for those of you who are thinking that for extra speed you need to do that extra whip. You don't need to. You need to be much more in sync. Basically your arms, your body, your club, more in sync together is the better your impact will be. His finish, you will see, is almost, strange to say that way, perhaps I should say the other way, almost Fleetwood-esque, that sort of, three-quarter finish rather than trying to turn all the way around. So some interesting takeaways in terms of how he's had to change his swing, how he's in fact hitting his irons probably even better than ever before, and his short game remains sharp. Let's hope he recovers from his injury and is able to contribute to the game. I'm sure he will contribute in many other ways if for any reason he doesn't come back in the near future. He has made an enormous impact on the game. He certainly took what Gary Player was doing in terms of fitness to another level and introduced it as a solid sport, golf as a solid sport, giving greater emphasis to fitness, to exercise, to nutrition, to core and muscle strengthening as part of extending your golf life, having a better swing and having a more effective game. Well, I hope these few quick views of Tiger Woods has been helpful. No pro comparisons would be complete without at least looking at it, and I might do another one on his driver in the not too distant future. Happy golfing. Enjoy the times to come. Let's hope we have a more normal 2022, but in the meantime, do keep enjoying the game. See you on the flip side.